Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. This is a mini episode. So, we do mini episodes Mondays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. and full episodes Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These are like dedicated to either a story with multiple updates or multiple stories with a theme, which we really haven't done that many themes. And you guys have like suggested themes, but it's just hard to find the subreddits that have multiple good stories with those themes. Like the revenge one was easy because there's actual like a subreddit dedicated to revenge stories, but some of them are so hard and it's like, why can't I find anything? But get your drink. I have my French press coffee, which guys, you should have seen me trying to work this French press. And when you know like how to work a French press, that sounds like so dumb because it's the easiest thing in the world, but I've never used a French press before. So I was literally so confused and I put the coffee in the wrong spot, which is like so insane, but I just couldn't do it. And then I finally was like, wow, you just put the water and the coffee grounds in the same spot and you press down. Oh my God. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist, but apparently it does because I could not figure it out for the life of me. I'm so dumb. And sometimes I don't like to use my resources because I'm just like lazy and I'm like, I can figure this out on my own. Like, I should know how to work this. It's common sense. But then I just proved to myself that I don't have common sense, apparently. Today, my host is actually a different one today. It's not the orange one, it's the black and white one, and she's licking her asshole. So, enjoy the show. I love how they start to lick their asshole as soon as I press record. It's like crazy, actually. It's kind of like, what are you doing? Trying to seduce my audience or something? I'm just so confused. But anyways, let's get started on this episode and this story. I've only read the first original story of this. I haven't read the updates yet because I read the first one on my TikTok for Get Ready With Me, and it was actually insane. So let's see what the updates are like. All right. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. Lord have mercy. So I'm still processing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Last night I woke up and realized someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut, and the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulder. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleptwalked or something? But no. I confronted my husband, Tim, because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he drops this bombshell. My mom, she might have done it. Apparently, my mother in law, let's call her Diane, is convinced I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week she saw me having lunch with a coworker. For the record, the coworker, Kyle, is gay, and we were literally talking about work. But Diane decided I must be having an affair, and instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands on my hair. This morning I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, but when I pressed her, she literally said, well, maybe now you'll think twice about before humiliating my son. I was fuming. I told her Kyle isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, that's what they all say. I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I want to go no contact with her. But Tim is stuck between me and his mom, and I feel like this is going to be a huge blow up in our marriage. Any advice? Because I'm honestly at a loss here. There's edits, so let me read the edits. I literally am shook at this story, guys. I cannot even imagine that happening. Okay, edit. My husband and I will be going to my mother-in-law tomorrow to talk to her about the situation again. Hopefully everyone will be calmed down by then and I won't have to threaten legal action. Thank you all for the support and suggestions. I will keep them at mind. Edit number 2. To everyone saying this is fake. I don't know how to make you believe me, and honestly, I shouldn't have to. I'm sitting here crying in my friend's guest room, completely broken, trying to make sense of how my life has fallen apart in the span of 24 hours. My husband, the person I thought I could trust the most, betrayed me in the most humiliating way possible. His mother violated me in my sleep, and now strangers are telling me my pain isn't real. I wish with everything in me that this wasn't real. I wish I was sitting here and trying to figure out how to I wish I wasn't sitting here trying to figure out how to rebuild my life, how to ever trust someone again, or how to even face the people around me after this. I've barely eaten, I've been shaking all day, and I feel like my world is crumbling beneath me. I turned to Reddit because I didn't know where else to go. I needed advice, a sense of support, something to hold me and hold myself together. But these accusations, they're making me feel even more alone. If you can't believe me, fine. But please don't make this harder than it already is. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. It's actually so annoying that how in every single crazy story, people always think it's fake, which, yeah, sometimes I'm sure it is fake, but you can't just automatically assume that just because it's like a crazy story and it sounds like something that would never happen, that it's a fake story. It's so annoying. And also, you're on Reddit to read like entertaining stories. So, how about you just chill and who cares if it's fake? Like, let's just read the stories. Just like, get off Reddit if you want it to always be a real story, because I'm sure there's no way you can always tell if it's a real story or not. So, it's like, just calm down. It's so annoying. It's literally like, yes, crazy stuff can happen to people. You're not, I don't know. It just feels ignorant to me to assume that it didn't happen just because it's so crazy. Like, that stuff like this happens to people, and just sorry that it doesn't feel real to you, but it happens. Okay, some of the comments. Why was his first thought, maybe my mom did it? Like, why would a normal person's mind go there? Did he let her in? I'm sorry, but if it were my spouse and they woke up with their hair butchered, none of my thoughts would be that it could be my mom unless I knew or she had done it before to someone else I was with. There's definitely more to that story, and if he isn't immediately on your side, it sounds like you have a husband problem along with a mother-in-law problem. I bet his mom told him about Kyle and he didn't care. Still doesn't if he needs to debate whose side he's on. Charge her with B&E as well as assault, because that's what this is. OP, this is the only way. She broke multiple laws and is clearly unstable. Police report cameras change locks. Hi, sorry to interrupt, but if you would like to listen on Spotify, we have a link in the description below. And if you're there, give us a follow and rate us 5 stars. Love you. I mean, yeah, that would be a crazy situation. Also, like, she just had a key to their place. It's kind of interesting to me that she just has a key to their place. For me, it's like, I don't just give out keys. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not normal, but especially because it's your mom, and obviously you wouldn't expect your mom to do something like this. But I don't know. No one has keys to my apartment, because if I have like a security thing on my apartment and it's like the numbers, but even before, when we lived in our other apartment that didn't have that, if like we were out of town and we needed my boyfriend's mom or brother to watch our cats, we would just have a lockbox with the key on there. I just wouldn't give, I don't know, because why is it necessary that you need like a key to my house? That's how I feel about it. I've definitely had keys. Like, I used to have a key to my friend's apartment, but that was just because she had a dog and sometimes like she wouldn't be able to get home to let him out. So then I would let him out. And I also lived there for like a couple months during the summer once, but that's besides the point. Okay. Anyways, we're going to read the update. There's 2 updates, but this one is 18 hours later. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. Update. 18 hours later. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband, and now I found out my husband helped her. After the conversation we had with Diane this morning, I noticed my husband, Tim, was acting weird. At first, I thought it was just guilt about standing up to his mom, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened. Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come up with the haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said he truly thought I was cheating on him with Kyle, my gay coworker, because Diane had convinced him that there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of weird punishment, he didn't stop her. In fact, he let her into our house that night while I was sleeping. Tim said he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth. So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterward, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realize he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, "I'm sorry, I was just confused. I'm so sorry." But I honestly don't know how to process this. This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic. This was both of them. And my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed a bag and I'm staying with a friend tonight. And while I figure out what to do, I don't know if I can ever trust Tim again after this. It's not just the haircut. It's the fact that he didn't talk to me, believed the worst about me without any proof, and actively participated in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report on both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it will get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this. I deserve better than this. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through this. Your comments and advice have meant the world, and I'm truly grateful for the kindness and understanding. It's helping me find the strength to figure out what comes next. Hi, sorry to interrupt, but if you could just press the subscribe button, the like button, and leave us a comment, it would really help with the algorithm and pushing out my videos to other people like you who like this type of content. Love you. That's actually crazy. Imagine finding out that your husband was literally in on that. Like, why wouldn't your husband just confront? What was his plan? His plan was just to cut your hair so that you would admit it? What? That makes no sense. That's actually a diabolical way of thinking. My plan, if I had someone tell me that, like if my mom was like, I think he's cheating on you, would be going through his phone or like going through his any technology that he uses. Not fucking buzzing off his hair in the middle of the night. Like, that's actually insane. I can't believe people think about stuff like that. Like, people truly come up with these ideas on their own, and that's the craziest thing to me. It's like, wow, I've never thought about doing that before. Because if I was like betrayed like that, I would not be able to hold it in to the point where I would end up in bed with that person, sleeping soundly next to them, you know? Like, as soon as my mom told me that she thinks that he's having an affair and she saw my boyfriend with another woman and like they seemed like they were together, I would immediately confront or immediately do something about it. I wouldn't be like, acting like everything's la-di-di, like, hello, hi, we still love each other, and then make up a diabolical plan like that, especially if I wasn't confirmed. And that's the craziest thing ever. All right. Sorry, oh my god, my throat just got so itchy. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. Update 2. I think I'm going to divorce him, and I may file a police report. After everything that's happened, I've been thinking a lot about my next steps, and I've come to a heartbreaking but necessary conclusion. I don't think there's any coming back from this. I trusted Tim with my heart, my safety, my life, and he betrayed me in ways I never thought possible. I can't imagine a future where I feel safe with him, where I can trust him, or where I don't carry the weight of this violation every day. I'm strongly considering filing for divorce. The thought of staying with him feels unbearable, but at the same time, I can't stop worrying about all the messiness. I just want to cut ties completely, to walk away and rebuild my life without him or his mother dragging me down any further. As for filing a police report, I'm leaning towards it, but I'm scared of what it might bring. I know what they did was a crime. My own husband let his mother into our home to assault me in my sleep. But the thought of dealing with legal battles or even just having to relive this again and again in statements is exhausting. Part of me wants to hold them accountable, but another part just wants to run away and never look back. Right now, I'm taking it one step at a time. I've been talking to friends, trying to find some clarity in all this chaos. It's terrifying and painful, but I know one thing for sure. I deserve so much better than this. Thank you to everyone who has shown me kindness and support. It means the world to me right now. Lordy Lord. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with you. There's no way I would ever be able to trust someone that did that to me, especially your, like, life partner. No, there's no coming back from that. For me, there's no coming back from, like, any type of betrayal, honestly. Even if I'm in a marriage and, like, I know some people say that it's different. Like if you're in a relationship and someone cheats on you or whatever, which obviously that's not the case here, but if someone cheats on you in a relationship, then it's like you guys should break up. But if someone cheats on you in a marriage, you should like try to work it out or whatever. But I think the complete opposite. I actually think that you should just break up no matter what. I would never be able to trust someone again if they did something like that to me. If they cheated on me, if they cut my hair in my sleep, like even if it's messy, I don't care because my life would just suck after that because I'd be constantly anxious knowing that this person isn't on my side and they're supposed to be like my life partner, my other half. That's terrible. That's a terrible feeling. And I just would never be able to get over that. And I'm like such an overthinker. I'm such an overthinker and I'm so anxious, which I've gotten so much better about ever since I've been medicated. And truly, I don't really overthink that much anymore. The biggest things I overthink about are like, honestly, it's more like an OCD thing. I feel like it's more of like intrusive thoughts that pop up in my mind, like terrible thoughts about my cats or like something going really bad in my life, like someone being dead. And I think that it's more OCD related. But other than that, like I used to stay up and overthink so much and I wouldn't be able to sleep just because I'd be like overthinking so much and just my mind would be running. But honestly, when I think about it, like it doesn't happen anymore. That just never happens unless I get in like a super anxious state, which has not happened in a while as well, which I'm so grateful for. Oh my God. Because I've struggled with anxiety for so long. And as I like got older, it only got worse and worse because I became more self-aware and my frontal lobe was more developed. And I feel like the more aware you become, the more anxious you get because you learn so many things that could go wrong. And then it makes you overthink. And it's like, oh, what if that happens to me? Oh, what if that happens to me? And so many different ways, like not even just like dying or like having a health scare or something, like just so many different things that you can overthink. And I'm so glad that I don't think that way anymore because I remember like high school. I feel like although I was diagnosed with I don't think I was diagnosed with anxiety in high school. I think it was just depression. And honestly, I think I was just really sad about breaking up my me and my boyfriend breaking up in high school. And because when I think back to high school and like the way that I felt then, I was so ignorance is bliss. Like I didn't know anything and I lived in such a small town and I was in such a bubble that I was so unaware of so many things and I worried so much less, especially when I compare it to like me in my adult years and me in my high school years. And it's just like I don't think that I really struggled that much with anxiety. I definitely think I had like bouts of depression, but other than that, I feel like it was more like situational things, like just going through things with family and stuff because my family has been not even my family, but like my siblings just have been very chaotic growing up, like with my brother going to jail and my sister with mental health on her end and stuff. And it's always been like something that I've been very worrisome about growing up and like had to worry about that at such a young age when that's not like what I should be worrying about. I should be worrying about like what grade I'm getting on my test or whatever. But I feel like I couldn't focus on anything that I should have been focusing on. And I did so poorly in school growing up because I don't know, I just feel like family, something was always going on that I had to deal with at such a young age that I never focused on school. I also didn't have anyone to push me or like tell me, do your homework. Like my mom just wasn't like that. And my mom also, she was like very busy with her own life. So I feel like, and since she was divorced and stuff, I feel like she was going through a really hard time for years and years. And that kind of led to like my having to figure it out on my own, everything basically. And I love my mom to death. Don't get me wrong. She might be listening to this. I love you, mom. But obviously, like, that affects you as you're growing up to not have someone to teach you to be motivated and teach you to care about things like school and all those things. Like, I never even thought about college until I was like a junior in high school, and I was like, fuck, like, I think I probably should start applying to schools next year or something. Like, I didn't even know what a college, like, I didn't even know any colleges other than the one that was in like 45 minutes from my town. And I don't know, I just felt like I was always having to worry about other things. So the things that I needed to focus on as like a child, I never got to focus on, if that makes sense. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, because I'm sure a lot of people have, most people honestly have divorced parents or like kind of rocky home lives. Okay, anyways, let's see some comments. Okay, someone said, I think she should tell her husband that he has to shave his head as part of his apology. Like, that's part of what he has to do before she will even consider coming home. Make him send a selfie. Tell him that this will not fix the situation, but it is a step in the right decision, and to prove that he's really in the right direction, to prove that he's really sorry. And try to get an admission in text of what they did. Like, you did this to me and I don't feel safe, and hopefully he and the mother-in-law will apologize via text, or at least not deny the incident. Try to draw the conversation out over several days and don't go home during this process. Okay, I don't really agree with that. I feel like just like shaving your head, okay. It's not, that's not even the point of it. It's the fact that they literally like did something in her sleep without her consent, snuck in, planned this diabolical plan, and went through with it. But OP said, thank you so much for taking the time to write this. I can't even express how much it means to me to feel seen and supported right now. You're absolutely right. I've been trying to wrap my head around what to do next, and your suggestions really help me see things more clearly. I've already started taking pictures of my hair, and I'm keeping every text as evidence. I hadn't thought about asking for an admission in writing, but that's a good idea. I'll definitely try to do that. The idea of him shaving his head as a part of the apology honestly feels like the bare minimum after what he allowed to happen. Though I don't think there's any way to truly fix what he's done. I'm terrified of what he or his mom might do next, and if I go back, so I'm staying with a friend for now while I figure out my options. The thought of filing a police report and getting a lawyer is overwhelming, but I know it might be necessary to protect myself. The betrayal I feel from both of them is unbearable, and I don't think I could ever trust him again. Your words about what could happen next time really hit me hard, because I've been trying not to think about that, but deep down I know you're right. This isn't something I can move past. It's just too big, too cruel, and too dangerous to ignore. Thank you so much for your kindness and for helping me feel like I'm not alone in this. Internet hugs right back to you. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe it. Oh my god, wait, sorry? I didn't see this, but there is, so she has another post and it says, can this conversation with my husband be used for a police report and divorce? And she provides screenshots, and I'll read them to you. So she's saying to him on text, I need you to be honest with me. Did you know what your mom was going to do? He said, I didn't think it would go this far. She said, that's not an answer. Did you know she was planning to cut my hair? He said she was upset. Okay? She kept saying you needed to learn a lesson, but I didn't think she would actually do it. And then she said back, learn a lesson? Are you hearing yourself right now? She told you what she was going to do and you still let her in? He said, I thought maybe she'd cool down after talking to you. He said, she told you she wanted to teach me about a lesson by cutting my hair, and you thought it would be fine. What is wrong with you? He said, I didn't think she'd actually go through with it. And she said, but you didn't stop her either. You didn't warn me, didn't protect me, you just let it happen. And he said, I didn't know how to handle it. Okay? She was so worked up. I didn't want to make things worse. Girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Girl, as in the husband, not the girl, but like, sorry? And then she said, worse? How could it possibly get worse? You knew she was going to do it, and you let her. And he said, I didn't mean for it to happen like this. She said, but it did happen, and now I'm sitting here humiliated, betrayed, and wondering how I'm supposed to ever trust you again. He said, I'm sorry, I really am. And she said, sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't make me feel safe in my own home anymore. I don't know who you are anymore. I need space to figure this out. And he said, please just come home and we can talk about this. And then she said, no, you made your choice, and now I have to make mine. Tea, sis, because That is actually insane. And then she wrote with this and said, I'm going through an incredibly traumatic situation and I don't know what my legal options are. My mother in law entered my home in the middle of the night. Oh, I'm assuming she wrote this on a different page. I've documented everything, photos of my hair, text messages with my husband, and written down the timeline of events. I just don't know if this conversation would actually hold up as evidence since he doesn't outright admit to anything, but heavily implies it. Any advice is appreciated. I'm feeling lost, scared, and overwhelmed right now. I don't know what the legal advice there is at all, actually, but I feel like I don't know, because I guess they could say, couldn't they say that like anyone sent those text messages, even though it came from his phone number? I don't know how that works because I'm obviously not a lawyer, but yeah, fully support that decision to leave him because insanity, truly. But that's the end of the story time. I'm just going to chat a little bit because I didn't get to chat with you guys in the last episode, and I really wanted to kind of update you guys just because I haven't filmed since last Thursday because I was out of town Friday through Monday, and then I already had all my episodes filmed up until Tuesday. So, this is actually, yeah, this is the second time I'm filming since getting home, but we went home to Iowa for the weekend. We did like an early Christmas with my family because a lot of my family moved out of Iowa, so it's really just my dad's side of the family and all my siblings who we celebrate with now, and like my nieces and nephews and stuff on that side. And the tickets were so cheap; they were like $100, and typically during Christmas they're like $500, and I have to fly into a airport that's like 2 hours away from where my dad lives. And also, it's not my hometown anymore because my dad actually moved away like 45 to an hour away from my hometown where I grew up. So it's not like there's anything. It's like kind of visiting like a completely different place. And it's kind of sucks because I can't see like any of my friends or anything while I'm there. So all we get to do is hang out with my family, which is nice, obviously, but there's a certain point where it's like, okay, they also have their own lives. So it's like a couple days you hang out with your family and then it's like they go back and then we like just kind of sit there. And this town, like I'm not familiar with, is I don't have anyone else there anymore. So it kind of sucks because it's like when I used to go home, I used to visit like so much family and then I would have friends that I would go see and like go hang out with and do stuff with. But yeah, so Um, but we were talking. So one of my sister's boyfriend, or why am I saying boyfriend? I'm so dumb. My sister's husband. They've literally been together since they were 15, and they just recently got a cat last year for Christmas, actually. And we were there when they got it. It was a little kitten, and now it's like a year ish, a little over a year old. And they were telling us like how she is such a brat and like she'll randomly attack them. And from what me and Jack saw, she was so nice. Like I picked her up and she was purring and she was super nice, but they said that she pees in the sink and stuff. And so I was trying to like ask her husband what they feed it and stuff because this pisses me off. I'm so passionate about my cats and I love my cats so much and like all I want to do is what's right for my cats to make them live the longest life. And it really makes me mad when people don't listen to my advice and they just think like, "Oh, it's fine. Like they'll be fine." But oh, no. Did my necklace just break? Oh my god. Okay, but anyways, they think like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine." But they feed her only dry food, which if you know anything about cats, they don't drink enough water. Like they never drink enough water. So, you need to do everything you can to try to get them as hydrated as possible. Adding water to their soft food, feeding them wet food is so important because they are very prone to urinary tract issues and urinary blockages, which makes them die like very quickly unless you can pay $1 billion for surgery. So, usually, I feel like when the cat is peeing outside the litter box, it either means they don't like the litter that you're using or something's going on with their body. And typically, it's like something urinary because they're trying to tell you something because they can't with their mouths. And so I was trying to tell him, like, oh, you should start feeding her wet food. He also feeds her Meow Mix, which I understand. Like, if you don't have money and you need to use like a budget friendly food to feed your cats, totally fine. But like, there are other budget friendly foods that aren't the lowest bracket of food. It's terrible ingredients. And then me and Jack were trying to suggest to him, like, you should go to Costco and get some wet food. It's super cheap and it's like, it's actually not bad cat food. It's not like the most amazing. It's not the freaking tiki cat food or the really expensive stuff, but it's, if you're not wanting to spend like a bunch of money or you're not able to spend a bunch of money, it's a really good option. And that's what we do. And it's like $30 for 45 cans. So we were like, all you would have to do spend is like $30 a month. We were telling him that we have 3 cats and we spend like a little over 100 a month for just the wet food. And he was so shocked. He was so surprised. He was like, what the hell? Like, what the fuck? He was freaking out. He's like, that is crazy. $100 on your cats? Like, blah, 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 saying that's crazy. I was like, oh, well, you would just have to pay like 30 because you only have one. And he's like, $30 a month? I'm not paying that much. And I'm like, sorry, but that's crazy to me. Like, first, they're not poor. They have a pretty nice house. Like, I would say they're probably middle class. And they can't take care of their cats in the way that their cat needs to be taken care of. And it really bothers me because it's like, okay, then don't complain to me that she's peeing in the sink and all this stuff. And also, I was like, don't complain to me when she has a urinary tract infection and then you have to go take her to the vet. And you're not going to, obviously, if you won't pay $30 a month for wet food, you're not going to pay thousands of dollars for her to get surgery. So she's probably going to have to be put down. And that's really sad to me. And then my stepmom was like, I had 3 cats and I fed them wet food and they lived for 15 years. It's fine. And I was like, it's really not though. And like this stuff kind of gets me heated. Like it's really hard for me not to actually like kind of explode because I know what I'm talking about. And I was about to be like, well, yeah, that's why your cats only lived to 15 years. And I'm not saying that with everyone. Like obviously cats have different lifespans and stuff, but no, that's also why your cats had health issues and passed away from health issues. So that pisses me off so much. It's like if you can't take care of an animal in the correct way, don't have an animal. It so pisses me the fuck off. It's like I literally brush my cat's teeth every few weeks because I want them to live as long as possible. I can't deal. But I was trying not to like be too over, angry about it because it does make me angry. And it's like, not only do you feed her the worst cat food you could possibly feed her, dry food, but you also won't spend $30 on wet food. Like, ugh, stop it. So, yeah, that is my rant for the day. I'm sorry if you don't really care about cats, but I just had to get that out because it's been pissing me off ever since it happened. And the tidbit that my stepmom added really made me mad because I was just like, just because your cats are alive does not mean that it's okay to neglect your cats like that. Oh, it's so sad. But anyways, to change the subject, we also watched The Substance. If you guys have seen The Substance, it's on Amazon Prime, but you have to like activate a free trial of this random thing, which we did. It's actually it's a really good movie up until about the 2-hour mark when the ending comes, and it's insane. The ending is terrible. We had to skip through a lot of it because it was just like actually crazy and so drawn out for no reason. But it's like a really good concept and they definitely executed it really well. But then up until the end, I was like, okay, did this person like take drugs or something? Like, did they take ecstasy while they were filming the end of this movie and coming up with the ideas of the script for the end of this movie? Because it's actually insane and I highly recommend you watch it just for the experience. And it's just a really cool, like, the premise of the movie is really cool and interesting. It's basically, I don't even know how to explain it. It's basically about, if you've seen the TikToks, it's like taking this random substance that makes a younger, hotter version of you, and you have to switch back and forth, like you get a week to live in the younger version, and then a week to live in your regular body, and then you have to like switch off and switch off. And the way it happens is just insane. I highly recommend it. It's really good up until the end. So let me know if you guys have seen that or if you're gonna watch it. It's really good. It's really crazy. But anyways, I am gonna go. We're gonna go to the gym and work out and maybe play pickleball after. I don't know yet, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the Storytime Society. Love you. Bye.